AJayPay! AJayPay!
Hey, what is going on YouTube? AJayPay bringing you another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle against Zeal, and it's an Ubers match. And this is the Ubers team I used last time, and in my last Wi-Fi video, this is the match I was talking about that was really good. Well, on my part, only because I make really good predictions. I play really well around this Latios, and yeah, there's a lot of stall in the beginning, and then in the end it turns kind of offensive in a bit, and that's why this match is kind of long. But I did speed it up, so I sped it up as much as I possibly can, but unfortunately it's still a long video, and this narration is going to be very tiring. So yeah, let's just go ahead and begin the battle now. Now, I led off with my Kyurem Black only because I thought he'd lead off with Fortress, and I thought I had a fire move, and you know, I have Terravolt or whatever it is as an ability, so that basically ruins his 30 and I could possibly Oko him, but the only problem is I don't have a fire attack, and he switches into this Latios. So the Draco meter is very obvious, so I might as well go into my Fortress predicting that. And I don't take that as well, so he's either Specs or has the Soul Dew, but he is he's playing on Black and White 1 as you saw in the beginning, so I'm assuming he does not have a Soul Dew, which is kind of a bad assumption, but you know. But him switching out to his Fortress just proved that he is a Choice Specs variant, because judging from that damage that I've seen from that Draco from past experience, that is Specs. But gonna switch out, gonna go into my Giratina to basically wall him and to block the Rapid Spin, but he decides to go for a Toxic Spikes. And while I do check this Fortress with Giratina, I am also potentially setup fodder as well, because I only have Outrage as an attack and I have Roar. I just want to roar this thing out in general, but I get a good roar. I roar him out to his Lugia, which is perfect because I can completely set up on this thing as well and use this thing as setup fodder by switching into my Fortress. As he's going to set up the Reflect, it's not going to really matter because when the Reflect's up throughout this whole game, I don't go for a physical attack, I believe. I'm pretty sure. I believe I don't. But either way, now I can just start setting up some spikes. But now he's going to switch his Latios in. And why would you switch a Latios in on a Fortress? Only if you have Hidden Power Fire. But the problem is, as we saw in the team preview, he has a Kyogre, so he has a Rain team. So why would you run Hidden Power Fire on a Rain team? So I'm thinking he might be bluff it, but then again, I'm not really sure. But the Rain is not up, so I'm assuming he just switched it in to go for the Hidden Power Fire. So I might as well just switch it to my Giratina because it can take any special attack. But if he does predict this and goes for a Draco, he could potentially Oko me. I don't really know how well I can take a Choice Specs Draco, but I'm just hoping he's not going to go for it. But he's going to go for the Hidden Power Fire, and it's not going to do that much, and he's going to take some Stealth Rocks damage, you know, as you saw earlier, and he's going to take some toxic damage as well. So things are really going my way against this Latios, and I'm playing pretty well around it so far. I just got to keep that up because this thing is a pretty big threat to my team. It outspeeds basically everything on my team as well. He's going to switch into his Lugia now, as I do pull out my double switch into Fortress, which is kind of dangerous because he could have just let this Latios in as death fodder, but then again, like I explained, it is a big threat to my team, so he wants to keep it alive. And yeah, so I make a really good prediction there, as now I'm able to set up another layer of spikes just to get them ready, not get them ready, but so that way I can wear down his whole team, including the Mewtwo, which is a big threat, and his other things. But he switches out Latios, and now I'm in a bit of predicament here. If he decides to predict me to switch out into my Giratina, goes for Draco, Giratina dies. If I stay in, he goes for Hidden Power Fire, Fortress is going to die. So if I make the wrong move, something's got to die. But if I do make the right move, it's going to pay off. And it pays off as I predict him to over-predict, go for the Draco, and I stay in, take that well, and I'm able to Rapid Spin all those hazards away, especially the Toxic Spikes, which is kind of my main concern because the rest, my offensive pokes are very frail and will not live long and can only take at most one hit, not 2 hits. But now he's going to switch out to his Arceus, which is normal, so now I know it's Ghost. That's why I didn't Rapid Spin earlier, but now I'm free to Rapid Spin anytime because I know that he doesn't have a spin blocker with this Arceus. But the only problem is now I know he's going to go for a Sword Dance, and if he potentially does have Earthquake or Brick Break, I'm going to be in a bit of a predicament because he outspeeds everything except for my Deoxys attack. So I'm going to switch into my Arceus Steel. He's going to try to steal the show as he does set up a Sword Dance. So now I know that the Arceus no more sets don't run max speed, so I do outspeed him. So if I do outspeed him, he's not going to go for extreme speed. He's going to go for Earthquake and Brick Break, knock me out. But he goes for extreme speed, so he either is over predicting or shows that he does not have the Earthquake or Brick Break and that he has Recover. So that's why I went for a Judgment instead of the Calm Mind. I just want to take this thing out as soon as possible, or weaken him down to the point where Deoxys attack and just take him out with extreme speed. As he goes for a second one, so I'm assuming he does not have the Earthquake or Brick Break. And at this point, another extreme speed could take me out, and I could take him out with another Judgment. And I'm predicting him to over-predict and go for the Recover, predicting me to go for the Recover, which he does, and I'm just going to take him out with a Judgment. So I took out a really big threat to my team as he switches Kyogre in. And as you can tell, I am naturally faster, but since he brings this Kyogre in like this, he's probably most likely Choice Scarf. But at the time of the game, I did not notice that. I just left Arceus in as death fodder at this point. But I do notice that he specs later in the game. But either way, he's locked into Thunder now, and I know I can go into Giratina, because Giratina can take any hit from this thing, and I did not see any item, and basically I'm just assuming that he's choiced in some way, but choice specs at this point, I believe. But he goes for a Thunder, knowing that I'm going to go for the Roar, so very good play on his part. As I do go for the Roar, I roar him out right into the Fortress, which I was just like, yes, I could set up on this thing with my Fortress if I decide to switch it in, you know, because I have to do that because I know he's going to try to set up his hazards again. I gotta Rapid Spin them away. So that's what I'm planning to do right now, as I definitely should have sped up this part. There's many after turn effects in this game. That's why this game is so freaking long. But I switch out now, go into my Fortress as he sets up spikes, and I am going to go for a Rapid Spin now just to get rid of those because, you know, they don't want that around as he sets up another layer of spikes. And at this point, I try to set up spikes, and the moment I click spikes, I was just like, no, I should have switched to Giratina because he's rapid spin them off, and he rapid spins them away. I'm just like, no, and he's getting leftovers to the point where his 30 is going to come back. So now my main priority is just to get up Stealth Rocks, and then basically just go into my Giratina to block the spin and stop him from setting up. So basically, the tables have turned in terms of hazards, as I had all three of my spikes up and Stealth Rocks, and he had basically really nothing up. But now he has basically all three layers of spikes and a Toxic Spikes up. And I only have Stealth Rocks, but that's fine because the Stealth Rocks are going to help me a lot against the two levitating pokes on his team, which is his Latios and his flying poke, Rayquaza. Well, not Rayquaza, Lugia. But he's going to switch this Kyogre back in, as I do just, you know, rest up to get all my health back. And what I like about this sleep talking set is when you sleep talk and you pull off a roar, it's not negative priority. You're going to go first if you're faster than the poke. And if I sleep talk and pull out outrage, I'm not going to be locked into outrage. I'm just going to only outrage once. So that's why I really like this set in general, as I do pull off the roar, which is great. I roar him out to this Fortress, as now he's just going to use me. He's just going to try to set up spikes because he knows he can't do anything. He knows I'm going to go for the roar as I do wake up. And he's going to get right out to this Mewtwo, which is actually pretty great because it's going to take Stealth Rocks damage, which is really good, which is going to matter as you'll see later towards the end of the game, or middle end. Does middle end make sense? I don't know, but he might have made a misclick right here as he went for the Aura Spear, or either over predicted. But either way, I get a roar off, and I could have probably just lived the hit anyways. And I roar him back out into this stupid Fortress, but this Fortress can't do anything to me because well, he can't spin block, he can't set up anything else, and it looks like he doesn't have Toxic. As I do roar again, I'm just roaring now, but at this point he switches to Lugia. Now Lugia has Dragon Tail, and I have Roar. You know, negative priorities, if both pokes go for negative priority, the faster poke will go first. As I try to switch into my Fortress just to set up, but he goes for a Dragon Tail, and basically my Fortress just took unnecessary damage. And yeah, the negative priority happens here, as I thought he'd go for a Dragon Tail. That's why I didn't go for the Roar. I just went for the rest instead. But now he's back up to multi-skill. I'm just like, well, crap, this is going to be a pain in the ass to take out. As I thought maybe he's not going to Dragon Tail this time. Maybe I could set up. But he Dragon Tails me out again to my Rayquaza. And my Fortress is basically dead fodder now, as it's going to die next time due to the spikes. But he, yeah, Dragon Tails me out to the worst possible thing for him, which is my mixed set Rayquaza. And I do go for the Draco Meteor because I have max special attack. It actually does a lot through the multi-skill. I was really surprised with this amount of damage I got on him. And the best thing he could have done was probably Dragon Tail, but he decides to go for a Toxic, which I don't really mind because Rayquaza can't really take one hit anyways. So I don't really care that much if it's Toxic or not. He should have just went for the Dragon Tail. But now he's gonna switch right out into his Kyogre again, as I believe I just what do? I go for a Dragon Dance. Now I'm at +1 speed, and I know he's Scarfed, and we have the same base speed. But if he's a Modest set, I have a speed tie with him. But if he's a Jolly set, then he's definitely still faster than me regardless. This is where I realize he's Scarfed. So I don't want to take that risk, as I might need Rayquaza for later. So I'm going to switch out, go into my Fortress as basically Death Powder, because it's just going to die from the spikes anyways. And I want to see what he's going to try to lock himself into, as he tries to lock himself into the Ice Beam. So I know I can take any one hit from this Kyogre since it's Scarf. So I go into my Kyurem Black, and I love the nickname to this, Badass Dude. That's such a good nickname, in my opinion at least. It should definitely be in the dictionary as well. As I'm going to go for the Fusion Bolt, knowing full well that I don't want to lock myself with the Outrage, because he might switch into Fortress and be like all resistant to that stuff, and I'd be locked into it. And toxic damage would rack up on me and stuff. So I decide, you know, I'm going to go for Fusion Bolt, get as much damage as I can off on this Fortress. And this Fortress takes it like a champ, so he might be more of a defensive set than especially defensive set like most usual Fortresses are. So luckily, since I'm a mixed set, I do carry the Focus Blast, which is my other neutral hit against this thing. So that's what I'm gonna go for. And I am max special attack, and surprisingly enough, this will take off the Fortress, even though I don't have the best special attack in the world. But then again, I guess he kind of does. I don't know. I have to look that up later, what the base special attack is. But here comes Mewtwo. It's gonna take another set of Stealth Rocks damage. So it's taking 2 Stealth Rocks damage. I don't know what item this thing has yet. So I'm just gonna basically stay in Death Fire, because nothing else on my team wants to take the hit. And the only thing that could really outspeed this thing will be my Deoxys attack, as he does hit me with the Ice Beam and takes out my Kyurem Black. But as you see, he's Life Orb. So he's at the amount of range where my Deoxys attack can come in, and I'm gonna go for my strongest neutral move on this thing, which is Thunder. And since I am a Deoxys attack, since I have max special attack as well, and he's at the that amount of range due to Stealth Rocks damage from 2 Stealth Rocks damage and Life Orb, that's gonna take him out. And I think those things really did matter. So the Stealth Rocks and the Life Orb definitely helped me out, but I'm gonna calc it later. But if it doesn't really matter, I'll just point it out on the screen with the annotation. But at this point, he has 3 pokes left. They're all at a low amount of range, to the point where I can just take him out with 1 extreme speed easily and outspeed all of them. But I just gotta hope my Life Orb recoil and my poison damage won't take me out before his last poke comes out, which is probably gonna be the Latios, because at this point he realizes I have extreme speed, I outspeed everything. So at this point I'm at 73 health. I just gotta hope Life Orb recoil and poison does not equal 73 HP on me. So I am gonna go for that extreme speed. I gotta pray to God that I don't die from this, because if I do, I might be pretty much screwed, because I gotta somehow stall out, because I only have a Giratina and a Rayquaza left, which does not outspeed this Latios, and my Giratina is asleep as well. So I gotta get really lucky with Sleep Talk if that happens. But I could potentially stall him out with Toxic damage if that does happen. But I do live with 19, so I'm able to go for the extreme speed. I'm gonna take out this Latios, and I am gonna die from my own Life Orb recoil. But it's gonna be a very narrow 2-0 victory on my part, and that was a very good game. I really enjoyed that game a lot, and sorry about the late uploads, guys. It's just that my computer kind of crashed, and then work got really into the way, to the point where I got really tired. But I will restart Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke randomizer on Sunday with part 15, I believe. That's after when I defeated the Mauville City Gym, because I still gotta create a tribute video, spoilers, to my Kabuto that just recently died. But anyways, yeah, good game, and that about does it for me. So like if you like, comment if you like, and subscribe if you like, and I'll see you guys later.